Good morning. I'm Mike Arredondo, principal at Gonzales High School, and I welcome you to another one of our podcasts happenings at Gonzales High School. These next two podcasts are really one that we've cut in half because they're kind of long. They're made up of little vignettes or brief videos of the various programs we have to offer our students here at Gonzales High School. Everything from agriculture to our yearbook class to our mentors that go down to the elementary school and work with the elementary students, and the band program with their new uniforms. You're going to get a chance to see all of those things and our students in action. So enjoy the videos. I have two student hosts that will be leading you through these vignettes. They're our ASB president, Anexia Davila, and our senior class president, Arissa Sandoval. Without further ado, I introduce you to the two of them that will lead you through these videos. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arredondo, for that introduction. My name is Anixia Davila, and I am a senior here at Gonzales High School, where I am also the ASB president.
And my name is Arissa Sandoval, and I am the senior class president here at GHS. We are your hosts, and today we'll be showing you 4 short videos to give you a glimpse of the fun and engaging learning experiences here at GHS.
Let's get started.
My name is Jesus Velasquez. I teach the Digital Arts and Media program. I try to teach students things that they can use in the real world outside of the classroom and hopefully make some money with it. In Corral, I teach them how to convert raster art to vector art, meaning that they can get images off the internet and fully edit them, make them scalable without any distortion, no pixelation of any kind. Show them how to do layouts where they utilize the backgrounds properly. In Photoshop, we show them how to restore photos. It's another way to make some good money, learning how to repair damaged photos. I tell them that they learn how to do it, they can start charging for it. And then on top of that, we do a lot of the manual art in here. We do posters that are made in pastels. We do colored pencils. We do painting. We've done piñatas, doing paper mache. We've done calligraphy, and then even some art, just a regular art with graphite pencils. So we try to make it all around art class. Students right now are restoring photographs. They are taking damaged photos that slowly are getting more difficult to repair. Once I think they've got a pretty good handle on how to use the clone stamp tool and how to stamp properly, we'll move on to, we're going to continue back what we were doing with the piñatas and the calligraphy and the drawings. I try to do a little bit of computer work, then manual work, computer work, manual work, and back and forth so the kids don't get bored doing one thing too long. Now I've got a bunch of kids that are very good in classes. Many of them work for me, and I hear they don't do a lot of work in other classes, but I don't fault them. It's art class. Art's fun, and so I can see, if you're gonna have a student that's not good in math, he probably is not gonna want to do the math, but he comes in here, it doesn't work in here. So I know some people question why some of them have good grades in my class and they're failing their classes. It's because it's a fun class here. Normally when you have a fun class, you'll show up to the fun class. And the difficult classes, you don't always do the work because sometimes it's not that you don't want to do it. Sometimes it's just a little bit hard, and many of them are embarrassed to ask questions and let their friends know that they still don't understand it. We're here, it's pretty much do it. There's really no right and wrong. Art is it's a stress reliever for many people, including myself. That's what I try to do. I try to make sure that they have fun doing what I enjoy doing, and hopefully I can make them enjoy the love of art.
Wow, I remember when I took that class my sophomore year.
What was your favorite memory from that class?
Probably making the paper mache hot air balloons. That was really fun.
You know what else is really fun? Miss Birmingham's Ag Mechanics courses. Let's take a look at that.
All right. This here is our metal shop that we have here as part of our Ag Mechanics program here at Gonzales High School. This program is complete with 3 different components. We have the class, we have the lab, and we also have the leadership component. So the class, we have a classroom component where we talk about, we consider it the lecture, we give information about what projects we're working on, what different applications we're going to be applying. Then we have the lab, which for my shop classes, that's the majority of the time. So here, what you see today, you've got students that are actually practicing what is most commonly known as the stick welding, which is SMAW. That's one of our introductory processes that we do as the Ag Mechanics. We do that for the Ag Mech 2 and the Ag Mech 3 classes. Then, as we keep going throughout the year, embedded within that is leadership components to help out with our FFA program to focus in on some leadership opportunities, as well as the SAE component, which is a supervised agricultural occupation or a project. So we've got students who've heard about livestock projects. We also have things that are applicable to the classes themselves. So we have some students that work out in different companies that do welding aspects and some other ag mechanics processes. So we kind of tie that all together to make the completed program. What you see with the students in the welding booth is, again, that stick welding. So we go through stick welding, we go through the MIG welding, which is a process we're getting ready to start into. And then as you get into Ag Mechanics 3, we also go into a little bit of the oxyacetylene cutting, and then we focus more on some of those fine industrial arts components. So that goes into your fine arts credits. So you currently have Ag Mechanics 1. We start off in the wood shop, which is just on the other side of the tennis courts. Students go through and learn machinery that's going to be used with woodworking. Then we finish up Ag Mechanics 1 with coming down here and starting in on the welding. For your Ag Mech 2, which would be a second year class, we focus mostly here in the metal shop to do most of the hands-on with the welding. From there, you can filter in to get your fine arts credit in your third year, which is the Ag Mechanics 3. So that's our newest component to give you all 3 years of the Ag Mechanics program. It's a lot of fun, and we also keep embedded with that the FFA program, so you can get the leadership components built in there, and then also having a project that's either related to Ag Mechanics, or you can do some of the livestock projects and different work experience. All of that to kind of be built in to make up what is our Ag Mechanics pathway here at Gonzales High School.
What they do in that welding class is so cool.
Yeah, I really wish I took those pathways.
You know what else is a really good pathway? Miss Dawkins' Ag Science pathway.
Let's meet Miss Dawkins so she could tell you a little bit more about those pathways.
I'm Kelly Dawkins. I teach the agricultural sciences here at Gonzales High School. I specifically teach sustainable agriculture biology, as well as honors agri-science systems management and greenhouse management, which is what's going on right now. And then sometimes I also teach soil chemistry, just depends on the year. So I basically do a lot of the science courses through our ag department here at the school. We have 3 different pathways in the agriculture department. We have an ornamental horticulture pathway, we have an ag mechanics pathway, and like I mentioned, we have an agri-science pathway. So students can take different classes throughout their entire time at GHS. Once they complete a pathway, they get to have a cord at graduation, they get different certifications through their classes, all things to kind of make them not only ready to graduate high school, but have some career skills waiting for them by the time they get their diploma. Today, my greenhouse management class is full of seniors. They are planting different seeds in hopes that we will have a spring plant sale in fourth quarter, towards the end of the school year. So they're planting a different variety of vegetables and herbs. Some of them are doing tomatoes, some are doing dill, parsley, everything. We have some gladiolus bulbs planted, so we're waiting on those. We're gonna move them outside. So they're just planting everything outside, keep the mess outside, and then they'll bring them into the greenhouse so they can start to germinate. I feel like we have a really strong agriculture program at our high school. I feel really proud to be a part of it. Our students tend to really enjoy the hands-on experiences that they get through their different agriculture classes. If that sounds like something that interests you, then I encourage you to talk to your counselors to sign up and join an agriculture class.
Me personally, I loved both the horticulture and the ag science pathway and all the classes it offered. It really gave me a glimpse into the agriculture careers.
Speaking of career pathways, let's look at Miss Perez and her mentoring program.
Hi all, I'm Monica Perez and I am the teacher for Gonzales High School's Careers in Education program. Our program is entitled, no, we are not entitled to anything. Our program is meant to spark the interest of our students and perhaps getting them into the teaching profession. My students go out to the La Gloria campus and also to the Fairview campus to work with the students, get hands-on experience of the teaching field, and they work with mentor teachers and at La Gloria and at Fairview. Hopefully fabulous. They take on the responsibility of having their kids, their own students that they work with. They come home to our classroom with such great stories about what they're watching the youth in our community do and the accomplishments they're making. Usually they come back very excited. Some of them say that it's hard work and they didn't realize how much hard work. The attachments that they make with their students is life-changing, because they do have to say goodbye to their students, similar to the way we as teachers say goodbye to them at the end of the year. So they are able to do my program in the 11th and 12th grade. It is a 2-year pathway, CTE pathway. And at the end, if they've completed both years with me, I get to award them a cord at graduation. At this moment, in the 3 years that I have done this program, I have had 2 of my students pass the paraprofessional exam. And I have at the moment about 5 or 6 working in the education system. I have one at the YMCA in Salinas. I have another doing an after-school program in Salinas as well. I would make it bigger and better. I wish that I had more schools that I could send my students out to, but I am so grateful for La Gloria, who has welcomed us all these years, and for Fairview for jumping on board with us this year, and I'm hoping they continue to stay part of our program. What I would say to them is what I tell my students when they walk out the door, which is, you're going out and changing the world one shoelace at a time.
Wow, all those pathways are so inspiring, especially looking back now as a senior.
I totally agree. I have loved each and every one of the pathways and classes I have taken here at GHS. They're all so fun and engaging.
Remember, this is just a glimpse at what we have here at GHS. Lots more to come in part 2. Welcome back to our series of short videos about Spartan happenings featuring teachers and students from GHS, highlighting the many exciting and engaging learning experiences we have here. I'm Marissa Sandoval. Let me introduce you to Miss Asher talking about poetry out loud.
My name is Jessica Asher. I am an English teacher here at Gonzales High School. I'm also the department lead. And a couple years ago, we brought in Poetry Out Loud as a supplemental curriculum. Poetry Out Loud is a national poetry recitation competition. Students memorize and then perform from an anthology of poetry. To compete, they memorize 2 poems, one that is pre-20th century, one that is post, and it's really about bringing those poems to life. So it teaches a lot of close reading skills, and just to kind of really connect with literature and find ways to kind of express yourself even within the world of published literature. So there's a couple of ways. Some classes, including mine, especially my AP literature class, it starts off as an assignment. They must memorize 2 different poems, and then they go on to the class-wide competition. From the class-wide competition, we send people on to the school-wide competition, and then from there, we send a finalist and a runner-up onto the county-wide. Students can also choose to just participate on their own. All the English teachers, even if they're not going to use it as class curriculum, offer that opportunity. And actually our champion this year was someone who wasn't doing this through a class but had participated previously, and she decided she wanted to come back for a second year, and she went on to be our finalist and ended up winning county. Students do select their own poems. Like I said, there are some parameters. One must be older than 20th century, one must be younger. The poems all come from the Poetry Out Loud anthology, so they do have to be from that site. But within those parameters, students do get to pick their own poems. And there's a lot of encouragement to really pick a poem that they are going to personally connect to, and that they feel that, expresses them in some way. So even though they are not writing these pieces, they're the ones that are performing them and bringing them to life. So it's really, really helpful if there's something within the poem that they personally connect to. But there's a lot of joy in watching these performances. I don't want to use the word surprise because our kiddos are great, right? They excel at so many different things. But I think the students themselves are often surprised at how well they and their peers do. For most, I would say 90% of the kids that do this, this is kind of a novel experience that they haven't had much to relate to. They might have done public speaking, or maybe they did a monologue once in theater, but this is really its own skill and its own activity and its own art form, really. So I think students are surprised at how much they're able to do. They all kind of start off in a, we have to do what? And then it turns into a really beautiful performance by the end of it. So for me, it's not surprise. It's just a lot of joy at the performance. So the first thing is understanding the poem. In class, they go through a process called typecast, where they sort of dig deep and they analyze the pieces that they've chosen. And then memorization becomes part of it. We work with students to get them some tips and some tricks on memorization. And their first performance is actually a memorization check. There's no expectation of performance, but the goal is to get through their pieces memorized with no prompting, with nothing in front of them. And then from there, it goes into the performance piece, and they treat it very much like a monologue in drama. They block out the poems. They think about where they're going to put gestures, if they're going to use gestures, when their facial expressions are going to change, when the tone of their voice is going to change. And the goal is really to make these poems as understandable to an audience that hasn't heard these before as possible. So it's about bringing poetry to life and really trying to embody that, from words on the page into this full performance. So the recent event this year, it was early February. Every year, like I said, we send a finalist and a runner-up. This year we were really lucky. We got to send 3 students because we had runner-ups tie. And they're going on to the county-wide, so Monterey County Poetry Out Loud competition. Different high schools in the area compete, and each sends their own finalist and runner-up. So it's a really cool opportunity for our students to sort of take these skills beyond our small community here, and it's really awesome for our students, I think, to see that even though we are a tiny community, we represent ourselves really well at that countywide level. Last year we placed second in the county. This year this year Nixia won first place. So I think it really brings some possibility to these students of, each year that program continues to grow because they go, oh, maybe I can do this because I know someone who did this last year. It's also a really great event to just kind of see what the possibilities within poetry are. The judges come from a wide range of arts and performing backgrounds within the county. They all kind of have these different positions around. They get to see what other students are performing, and they also got to see the Monterey County Poet Laureate perform. So yeah, I think it's just a really cool experience, and also just a way to see kind of the possibilities within performing arts. I think it's really cool for her too. And like I said before, this was someone who did this more than once. So the previous year she placed second. This year she won the whole thing. And I think that really speaks to the idea of practice and endurance and perseverance, that even someone that, is gifted in this, it took her 2 rounds. And so I guess the lesson in there is sometimes it takes that second chance, sometimes it takes the third or the fourth, right? That we want our students to know that, yes, these are opportunities, and yes, they're very talented, but these things are competitive. It requires a lot of skill and a lot of practice and a lot of commitment and perseverance. And but the flip side of that is we get to see what's possible when you do all of that. So Nixia is going to go on to represent us at state, and we're just so excited to see what happens there. So this happens every spring, right about December, January. If this is something you're interested in, I encourage you to speak to either your ELA teacher or come to me directly. I'd love to talk to you more about it. It's really funny that you mentioned about freshmen, because there was actually a freshman competing at the countywide level this year. And so there, it's not just something that happens with upperclassmen. Freshmen can do this from their very first year. And so if you I'll even take back a step. Even if you don't think that poetry is your thing, think about music. We all connect to music. We all connect to songs. That's what poetry is. So if you're someone that loves music, hint, hint, all of you, you might find that there's a poem out there for you. And so I would encourage you to try this, to kind of push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone. And we hope to see you perform in the future.
So proud of Anixia. Congratulations. You'll see Anixia again coming up in this series. Next up is Ms. De La Torre, who shares the learning opportunity for you to get real-life work experience while attending GHS.
Hi, I'm Ms. De La Torre. I'm the Work Experience Education Teacher Coordinator here at Gonzalez High School. So the Work Experience Education class is known as WE, and it is a class for juniors and seniors. It is an elective. It meets the high school and college graduation requirements. So what is WE? I meet with the students once a week, and this is for students, juniors and seniors, that are actually and currently employed. They need to be employed for a minimum of 5 hours a week to be able to enroll in WE. And the students in the class meet with me once a week, and the majority of the hours that they're working, those are the hours that counts towards their class requirement. What do they learn in the class? They learn many things. We prepare students to become competitive in the workforce. So when they leave high school and they move on either to a 4-year university or maybe to a community college, they are prepared, they are competitive in the workforce, and they can apply for jobs either on campus or off campus. So once a student enrolls in my class, I also visit their work site. So together with the employer, we assess our students' areas of strength and areas of growth. Working and knowing soft skills, it's a huge component of the class. So students, when they complete the semester, or they could take it as a year course, they are going to be experts in communication. They're going to be experts in team building, leadership skills, how to do effective writing, and they're also going to develop their resume. Students really improve in this class in all areas of soft skills, but also in the hard skills area, in the particular area that they're working, because we want them to learn transferable skills. So maybe they're working in a restaurant and that's not going to be their major, right, when they leave high school. But there's a lot of things that they can learn working in any type of industry that can be transferable, that they can transfer. It's a transferable skill for any job in any other industry, so they could be successful. So I look forward to having students come over at the College and Career Center. That's where I'm located here at the high school in room 52. If you or any parents have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I look forward to having you in my class.
What a great way to get ready and prepare for the life you have ahead. That's a wrap for this part of the series. See you in part 3 with more information on classes here at GHS.